about the legislative wins. We do have Don Scott, who is the Speaker of the Virginia House of Delegates, joining us right now. Speaker Scott, thank you very much for being here. Earlier, before the polls closed in Virginia, you and I spoke, and you said this to me. You said it doesn't benefit you to be MAGA when MAGA isn't on the ballot. You might want to be responsible. That is in response to me asking, how did you think Spanberger was going to do against Winsome Earl Sears and what this election could mean? Now that the polls have closed, you have netted how many seats in the Virginia House of Delegates? And what does this mean for Virginia, but also the country?
Come on, I'm trying to keep count. At first I was using my fingers, now I'm using my fingers and my toes. We had 13 seats that we gained so far tonight. We flipped 5 Republican-held seats. We flipped the other 8 seats that Kamala Harris had won. We flipped every single targeted seat that we had targeted. We even outperformed the top of the ticket in some of those districts. That is how frustrated people are with what's happening in this country. We, at 64 seats, this is the largest Democratic majority in 3 decades. The country is pissed off. They are ready to win. They're ready to move in a different direction. And they're trying to send a message to Republicans that it's okay right now to stand up to Donald Trump. Right now, in the General Assembly, in the House of Delegates, Republicans are afraid to criticize him. They treat him like Lord Voldemort from Harry Potter, like him who must not be named. They will not even say his name. They are so intimidated and afraid of him. We have a governor and lieutenant governor and attorney general who all basically bent the knee to him. And I think now folks are realizing that the public is not with it. The people who are voting, they want a change, they want a difference, and they want people that will stand up to them. I know everybody was concerned about Jay Jones. I always knew that eventually he would put it out because people want someone to protect them, someone that will fight for them and not continue to do the bidding of Donald Trump. I mean, Donald Trump went this weekend and did that great Gatsby thing, basically spitting in the face of hardworking Virginians who he has laid off, who he has furloughed. And then he said even if they get the government open, he wouldn't pay them back pay. I mean, so people here were upset and were ready to make their voices known and make their voices heard. And I think, you know, the thing I love about Virginia, we have a motto. It's sic semper tyrannis, thus always the tyrants. We don't like kings in Virginia. And tonight we stood up and we showed them that we would not continue to accept the direction that the country was going. We got to send the first love letter to the rest of the country. You know, Virginia is for lovers. We got to send the first love letter to the country to say we have not all lost our dang old minds and we're ready to move in a different direction.
Speaker Scott, the last time you spoke with the three of us and walked us through your redistricting plan, you told us that those maps would not be ready in time for 2026. Given the buffer that you now have in the state legislature, does that change the timeline on your redistricting maps?
But what I said was we have no maps right now, and we don't. We have a 3-step process here in Virginia. We had to pass it before this election, the constitutional amendment, which we did. We'll pass it after this election, and we will. And then we have to take it to the voters. We won't have to have maps until at that point. That's the point that we draw maps. So we don't need to have maps. We just need to get the constitutional amendment passed. And the voters tonight gave us a mandate. 64 new seats from 51 to 64. That is a mandate. They want us to move in the direction that we're telling them, but they also want us to exercise some restraint. Don't go too far. But as I've said many times during the Trump administration of these last several months, pendulums don't creep. Pendulums swing. And tonight that pendulum swung, and it swung in the direction of Democrats. And the Democrats are back, and we're ready to fight.
Mr. Speaker, I have met a lot of speakers over my years in politics, and I have to tell you, sir, I've never seen one smile the way you're smiling tonight. And I know that comes from a place of hard work. And I know that comes from a place where a lot of folks doubted what you were able and the Democratic Party in Virginia would be able to do on the ground. Speak, if you will, for a moment about that. capturing that energy and getting that turnout, because that's, you know, it's, for me, it's a good comparative point about how narrative storylines and a vision and a mission can inspire people to actually move towards the ballot box. Talk about that on-the-ground effort to flip those 13 legislative seats.
Well, when we took the majority, I became minority leader in 2022. We had just won the majority in 2019 for the first time in 20 years. And then we lost it promptly in 2021. And when I became the minority leader in June of 22, I got my caucus basically said, we trust you to grow this and to reach out and come up with a plan to reach out to voters. We re-energized our infrastructure. We created some velocity in how we talk to voters across the spectrum, and we were able to win the majority in 2023 with a popular Republican governor at the top of the ticket, a very unpopular President Biden at the time. He was like 38% in Virginia. And then we took that momentum this cycle with Trump at the top of the ticket for Republicans and really just decimating people. At the end of the day, Trump lied to these folks. He told them he would lower the price of beef. He would lower the price of groceries. He would lower the price of child care and health care. And not only was he wrong about lowering those prices, everything went up. And then we began to strategize and come up with a movement and tactical strategy to recruit a candidate to run in all 100 seats. We hadn't done that in a generation. We recruited specifically people who were connected to their communities. If you look at the data tonight, every single county in Virginia moved further towards the Democratic Party than they did Republicans. We're gaining trust again. And it's our job right now to continue to grow that trust. And that's what we're being to be able to do. And that's why I'm smiling. If you were sitting where I'm sitting at the view and the vision that I have right now, you would be smiling too, Michael. I promise you. I'm in a good spot right now. I love my hand. I like my hand better than their hand right now.
Look, all I can say, I was in that room in 2009 and 2010, and I appreciate you, brother. I know the love you feel tonight because you put in the work. Don Scott, Speaker of the Virginia House, thank you so much for being with us. Next.